Dr. Mahashi, Executive Director of Zimbabwe Museum and National Monuments. Ms. Doreen Simbamba, Director of National Gallery. Mr. Munikwa, Deputy Executive Director of the National Museum and Monuments. Ms. Kaboza, representative of UNESCO, dear Yvette. Members of diplomatic corps, archaeology experts, dear Stephanie. Students, workshop attendants, all protocols observed. On behalf of the French Embassy, I am pleased to co-organize with the National Museum and Monuments, University of Zimbabwe and UNESCO this regional workshop dedicated to the protection of rock paintings. This initiative, supported by French Embassy, is in line with an important component of the French global cultural politic. Indeed, the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs is promoting archaeology all around the world. For instance, in 2014, the ministry brought its support to 148 projects for archaeology around 160 countries. But why archaeology is a so important issue, although it doesn't seem to be apparently a priority compared to economic and environmental issues, for instance. I would say that because in a globalized world marked by crisis and identity issues, archaeology is a discipline that increases our scientific knowledge of the past, and doing so makes us able to understand and to appropriate a common identity. I think it's a huge stake for young countries as Zimbabwe, but also for humanity in its whole, and that's the reason why a great organization, part of the United Nations, UNESCO, is present here today and is supporting its regional workshop. As a vehicle of French diplomacy, archaeology is also an opportunity for exchange, civil society involvement, and cooperation with local communities and local authorities. It is also an opportunity to share the French expertise in the field of science, especially in archaeology, which is represented here today by Stephanie, and I thank her for coming to us for the benefit of our partners. The involvement of French Embassy in that sector here in Zimbabwe is not new. Our today workshop represents a continuity with previous initiatives. Indeed, France was already present in Zimbabwe in the 90s by supporting researchers and excavation in the ancient city of Canny. I wish that Zimbabwe will be again supported for a research project. A request of support formulated by the Zimbabwean French team has been put forward no longer than last week. However, the French research for archaeology has already come back to Zimbabwe, owing to our partners of National Monuments and University of Zimbabwe. Indeed, last year, the French Embassy supported the Congress of the Association of the Archaeologists from Southern Africa, dedicated to the Rupestrian paintings. This Congress took place here in Harare. And last April, at the beginning of May, a delegation run by the director of IFAS, which is the French Research Institute of South Africa, went to Zimbabwe to meet the major institutional and academic partners and to make site visits. And that visit drew to two main conclusions. The first is the extreme richness of the archaeological Zimbabwean heritage, and not only because of Great Zimbabwe. As you're aware, Matopos National Park is registered on the list of World Heritage sites. And according to the experts, more than 10,000 sites of rock paintings have been identified all around the country. 10,000 sites. And with better ways of investigation, around 40,000 sites could also be identified. And the second conclusion of the mission is that this legacy deserves more attention concerning its protection and its promotion. A strong request of cooperation has been formulated by the different Zimbabwean partners and authorities in that aim. One of the first following of the mission is the request of support for a joint program of research mentioned above. Another one consists in exchanges of expertise between Zimbabwe and IFAS, French Research Institute in South Africa, but also with South African researchers and probably with researchers coming from the whole region. In that frame, Zimbabwean students in archaeology attended already an excavation site run by IFAS. But other types of cooperation could be planned between French and Zimbabwean universities, and the French embassy stay at your disposal to define this type of cooperation that could be useful. This rock art conservation workshop we are supporting with our partners, I think, is a new illustration of our involvement. This workshop has been set up on the request of our Zimbabwean partners, and they have identified the issue of the protection of rock paintings as a priority. And indeed, like it has been said, numerous damage have been recorded those last years, and this heritage is unfortunately under threat. Focused on the conservation of rock paintings, this workshop has been open to the experts of the neighboring countries, whose heritage for rock paintings is also workable. From our side, we asked Madame Stéphanie Touron, who is a French expert working for the Laboratory of Research of Historical Monuments, to provide a technical support to the Zimbabwean experts. She accepted to come here, and I would like also to thank her for that. But it will be up to the experts here to focus only on those issues of protection of rock paintings during the whole workshop. In our view, there are many topics which can be taken into account. Beyond this priority, all the partners could go further into the issues of the collection of data and of sites identifications, and the management of these sites with the involvement of local communities, and more generally to their promotion. In particular, I would like to emphasize one of those other issues, I mean awareness, in particular towards the children of schools and college. I do believe it's a critical point for an overall sustainable policy and for its main goal, which is to give to Zimbabweans a deep knowledge of their past and of their identity. I would like to conclude by expressing a personal opinion. Archaeology in Zimbabwe, in particular rock paintings, should not be limited to a scientific issue. It could also be a component of attractiveness of the country. The visit of the rock painting sites present all over the country could be part of a complementary offer to the nature tourism, which is a major asset for Zimbabwe. An archaeological tourism could also be developed. But beyond this economic aspect, I will tell again that this exceptional legacy, whose appropriation by the population is not developed enough, could contribute to enhance the identity and the pride of a young nation. I thank you for your attention.